you come here to learn about, firstly, you comes for the man whose name is Mark Donohue. Secondly, the car which is named as AMC Javelin RT. Thirdly, you are here to watch 20 weird facts about this car.
Hey there, gearheads and classic car enthusiasts! Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the wild world of automotive history. Before we rev up, if you're loving this content and want more mind-blowing facts about forgotten muscle machines, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below with your favorite pony car of all time. Your support keeps the engine running. Now, let's kick this off with a bang. Imagine this. It's the late 60s, and the Trans-Am series is heating up like a drag strip on a summer day. Enter Mark Donohue, the legendary racer and engineer who's basically the godfather of high-performance tweaks. This guy wasn't just driving, he was revolutionizing. Teaming up with Roger Penske's squad, Donohue piloted the AMC Javelin to glory, snagging championships and pushing the limits. He even cooked up that massive rear spoiler to keep the beast planted at insane speeds. And he wasn't alone. Heavy hitters like Peter Revson and George Fulmer jumped in, adding their flair to the Javelin's racing legacy. These dudes turned an underdog from American motors into a track terror, proving that brains and brawn could beat the big boys. Stick around, because if that hooks you, the next 20 weird facts about the AMC Javelin are going to blow your mind wide open. This stuff is so shocking, you'll be glued to your screen. Stay and watch. All right. Let's structure this out nice and clear. I'll hit you with 20 facts, each one building that dopamine rush. You know, that tease where I'm like, what if I told you this car had ties to high fashion? Then bam, the reveal that hits like a nitrous boost. We'll go fact by fact, packed with real history, quirky details, and enough entertainment to make you feel like you're cruising down Route 66. Each one's based on solid research from automotive archives, racing logs, and collector stories. And hey, if a fact shocks you, pause, like the video, and comment, "Mind blown." Let's roll. Fact 1. The Javelin's secret speed demon legacy at Bonneville. You think muscle cars are all about quarter-mile drags? Hold on. Because what if I told you the Javelin wasn't just a street fighter, it shattered records in one of the most extreme speed arenas on Earth? Picture this, the vast, blinding white salt flats of Bonneville, where cars push the envelope of physics. In 1968, right after launch, AMC sponsored 3 Javelin teams for the Bonneville Speed Spectacular. Craig Breedlove, the Speed King himself, hopped in for runs. Team member 2 clinched the win, setting a blistering record for C production class cars that stood unchallenged for years. We're talking sustained speeds that made the Javelin a certified land speed legend. But here's the weird twist. Each winning team member got to keep one of the record-setting cars as a prize. Imagine driving home in a machine that just redefined fast. This wasn't just marketing fluff. It proved the Javelin's engineering chops, with its aerodynamic body slicing through the wind like a spear. Donohue's influence echoed here too, as his tweaks inspired the stability needed for those runs. Shocking, right? This fact will really rattle your brain. Stay tuned for more, and don't forget to subscribe for deep dives like this. Fact 2. Pierre Cardin's fashion invasion of the muscle world. Okay, buckle up for a curveball. Muscle cars are supposed to be raw, greasy, and all about power, right? But what if I said the Javelin got a makeover from a world-famous fashion icon, turning it into a rolling runway? Tease over. Enter Pierre Cardin, the French designer extraordinaire. From 1972 to 1973, AMC teamed up with Cardin for a special edition interior that's straight out of a 70s disco dream. For just $85 extra on the SST model, you got vinyl seats with wild silver, white, purple, and crimson stripes swirling in hypnotic patterns against a black backdrop. Exterior colors? Think Trans-Am red, snow white, or wild plum to match the vibe. Over 4,000 of these were made, but it's weird because AMC, the budget brand, was blending high fashion with horsepower. Cardin submitted over 10 designs before nailing it, and the result? A car that felt luxurious, yet badass. No other muscle car dared this. Imagine cruising with seats that look like a psychedelic suit. This shocks the mind, doesn't it? Hit that like if you're imagining one in your garage and comment your thoughts. Stay watching for the next jaw-dropper. Fact 3. Born from humble economy car bones. Here's a mind twister. The Javelin looks like a purebred muscle beast, but deep down it's got roots in Grandma's grocery getter? Yeah, you heard that right. AMC, always pinching pennies, built the Javelin on the chassis of the Rambler American, a compact, no-frills economy car from 1964 known for sipping gas and boring commutes. They stretched and beefed it up, but that unibody design, rare for muscle cars, carried over, making the Javelin lighter and more agile than rivals. Weird fact, this thriftiness let AMC offer a base model with a 232 cubic inch inline-six hitting 25 miles per gallon. Insane for a pony car. But flip the script with V8 options, and it roared. This duality shocked buyers. One mag called it the thinking man's Mustang. Donohue loved the handling from those roots for Trans-Am tweaks. Blows your mind how an underdog rose from humble beginnings, huh? Subscribe now so you don't miss facts like this. Stay and watch. Fact 4. The first pony car to wear a badge. Pony cars chasing crooks? Sounds like a movie plot, but wait till you hear this. What if the Javelin wasn't just for joyrides? It was the law. In 1971 to 1972, Alabama's Highway Patrol tested Javelin SSTs and AMXs, then ordered 133 beasts with 401 V8s, beefed brakes, and cop-spec suspension. It became the first pony car police cruiser, outrunning full-size sedans to nab speeders and muscle machines. Weird part? They handled great on pavement but slipped on gravel, leading to complaints and a switch back to big boats. Still, imagine sirens wailing from that sleek fastback. Pure 70s action. Revson would have dug the chase vibe. This fact shocks. Comment if you'd want one as a cop car. Like and subscribe, folks. More mind-benders ahead.
Fact 6. Designed by a budget genius. Dick Teague was the kind of designer who could turn scraps into style, and the AMC Javelin was his masterpiece. Unlike Ford and GM, who had huge budgets for the Mustang and Camaro, AMC was always strapped for cash, barely surviving year to year. But Teague thrived under those limits. He had learned at Packard and Chrysler how to stretch pennies, and at AMC, he perfected the art. Instead of lavish new parts, he reused what the company already had, reshaping and reimagining until it looked fresh. Out of that came the Javelin, an affordable pony car with the soul of a European coupe. The Javelin was born from the AMX concept, a sleek two-seater that had wowed crowds but wasn't practical for AMC's sales needs. Teague stretched the design into a four-seater that could rival the Mustang, and somehow he kept the concept's flair. The split grille gave it a hungry, aggressive look, while the semi-fastback roofline was unique without being costly. Smooth lines, subtle curves, and a touch of European flavor made the car stand out on American streets. Even racing driver Peter Revson admired its aerodynamics, saying it looked like it belonged as much on the track as on the road. What made this car special wasn't just how it looked, but what it meant. AMC had been known for economy cars, sensible Rambler sedans and wagons. The Javelin shattered that image, pulling younger buyers into showrooms and giving AMC a shot of cool. It was bold, stylish, and competitive, all designed on a shoestring. Teague's genius was that he didn't need money to make a statement. He needed imagination. The Javelin proved that even the underdog could look like a champion, and it remains one of the best examples of creativity born from constraint.
Fact 8. Killed by the Fed's iron fist. The AMC Javelin's production came to an end in 1974, and the reasons behind it highlight the challenges faced by smaller automakers during the 1970s. Federal regulations on safety and emissions were becoming increasingly strict, and compliance required extensive redesigns, engineering changes, and new equipment. For giants like Ford or General Motors, these updates were costly but manageable. For AMC, a company with limited financial resources, the expense was overwhelming. The U.S. government had introduced new rules on bumper standards, which required cars to withstand 5-mile-per-hour impacts without damage. Meeting these standards meant either redesigning entire body structures or adding heavy, protruding bumpers. At the same time, emissions regulations were tightening under the Clean Air Act, forcing manufacturers to modify engines, exhaust systems, and carburation setups. These changes often reduced horsepower while adding significant costs to development. AMC had to make a strategic choice. The Javelin, while popular among enthusiasts, was not the company's highest-selling product. In fact, it was a niche car compared to AMC's bread-and-butter sedans, wagons, and compact models. To survive, AMC prioritized its practical vehicles, the ones most buyers relied on for daily use. Updating the Javelin to meet all new regulations would have drained resources that AMC needed to keep its core lineup competitive. Despite this, the Javelin outlasted some of its rivals, with total production reaching around 231,000 units across its run. By the mid-1970s, however, the market for muscle and pony cars was shrinking as insurance costs, fuel prices, and government standards made performance cars less attractive. The Javelin's cancellation in 1974 reflected both industry trends and AMC's limited ability to adapt quickly. In the end, the Javelin's discontinuation was not due to lack of appeal, but rather the collision between regulation, economics, and market shifts. It became one of the last casualties of the muscle car era, remembered today as a victim of circumstances that reshaped the entire automotive landscape.
Fact 9. Group 19 Bolt-on Beast Mode. Fact 9 centers on one of the most fascinating aspects of AMC performance history, Group 19 parts. While many automakers offered performance packages, AMC took a unique approach by creating an entire catalog of factory-approved speed parts. This was essentially a way for enthusiasts to transform their Javelins and other AMC models into competitive drag strip or street machines without sacrificing warranty coverage. Group 19 wasn't a single option package, but rather a collection of bolt-on components available through AMC dealers starting in the late 1960s. The catalog included parts from well-known aftermarket suppliers, Edelbrock intake manifolds, Holley carburetors, traction bars, headers, and even high-performance camshafts. What made it unusual was that all of these parts carried AMC part numbers. That meant buyers could purchase them directly through the dealer network, install them, and still claim their car was factory-supported. For an automaker as resource-limited as AMC, it was a clever way to leverage aftermarket expertise while maintaining brand loyalty. The performance gains were significant. With the right Group 19 setup, a Javelin could easily run quarter-mile times in the 12-second range, putting it in league with heavily modified Mustangs or Camaros. Some of the parts were directly inspired by AMC's involvement in Trans-Am racing under Mark Donohue and Roger Penske, so the racing connection wasn't just marketing, it was a real transfer of track-proven hardware to the street. Group 19 also helped AMC punch above its weight in the enthusiast market. While Ford, GM, and Chrysler could overwhelm buyers with factory performance divisions, AMC offered an a la carte solution. Enthusiasts didn't need to settle for one pre-packaged car. They could customize their builds, adding pieces as budgets allowed. For many young buyers, this flexibility made the Javelin and other AMCs appealing alternatives to the mainstream muscle cars.
Today, original Group 19 parts are highly collectible, both because of their rarity and because they symbolize AMC's unconventional way of doing business. They represent an era when even a smaller automaker found innovative ways to stay competitive in the horsepower wars. For enthusiasts, Group 19 was proof that AMC wasn't afraid to empower its customers to build their own factory-backed hot rods.
Fact 10. Affordable today, rare vibes. The AMC Javelin holds a unique position in the collector car market today. While Ford Mustangs, Chevrolet Camaros, and Dodge Challengers often command six-figure prices at auctions, the Javelin remains comparatively affordable, even in rare or performance-oriented trims. Fully restored examples generally sell in the $30,000 to $40,000 range, with special editions such as the Mark Donohue Javelin or AMX variants occasionally reaching $60,000. For context, that is often half or even a third of what buyers pay for equivalent Mustangs or Camaros of the same era. Several factors explain this undervaluation. First, AMC produced fewer cars overall, and as a smaller automaker, its brand recognition does not match the big three. Many collectors focus on nameplates with widespread cultural presence, which keeps demand for Mustangs or Chargers consistently high. The Javelin, despite its racing pedigree and distinctive styling, remains more of an enthusiast's secret. Second, AMC's reputation for being the underdog has created both a barrier and an opportunity. While casual buyers may overlook the brand, knowledgeable collectors recognize the rarity and uniqueness of AMC muscle cars.
Fact 11. Auction star power. In recent years, the AMC Javelin has begun to attract more attention at major collector auctions, signaling a shift in how enthusiasts and investors view the brand. A standout moment came in 2022 when Mecum Auctions offered a group of 17 AMC vehicles as a single lot. This collection included several Javelins, along with notable examples of other AMC models, such as cars that had competed at the Bonneville Salt Flats. For a brand long considered an outsider in the muscle car world, having such strong representation at a high-profile auction highlighted its growing recognition among serious collectors. The inclusion of Javelins in this group was particularly important because it emphasized their rarity. While Mustangs and Camaros often appear in large numbers at auctions, Javelins are far less common. Seeing multiple examples presented together showcased their diversity, ranging from base models to high-performance trims, and reminded audiences that AMC had been a real competitor in the pony car segment. Auction visibility also tends to raise the profile of a car in the collector market. When bidders see AMC vehicles crossing the block alongside the best-known muscle cars, it reinforces their legitimacy. Even if prices remain below those of mainstream rivals, the fact that Javelins are appearing more frequently in televised high-end venues suggests momentum. It also provides data points for valuation, helping future sellers and buyers gauge the market. The Bonneville connection in the 2022 Mecum lot added another layer of prestige. AMC had a history of proving its engineering credibility through speed trials, and including such cars in the auction linked the Javelin to performance achievements beyond showroom sales. This kind of narrative strengthens the brand's appeal to collectors who value both rarity and historical significance. Overall, the Javelin's presence at major auctions reflects its evolution from a cult favorite to a respected, though still undervalued, classic. While it may never reach the price heights of a Boss Mustang or a Hemi Cuda, its star power is rising, and moments like the Mecum 2022 sale demonstrate that AMC muscle cars are earning a place on the big stage of the collector world.
Fact 12. Economy or muscle switcheroo. The AMC Javelin was unusual among pony cars because it was built to serve two very different audiences. On one hand, AMC offered it with an inline-six engine that could achieve close to 25 miles per gallon, appealing to practical buyers who wanted style without high fuel bills.
On the other hand, the same car could be ordered with a range of V8 engines up to the powerful 401 cubic inch version, transforming it into a serious performance machine. Few competitors in the segment provided such a broad spectrum of choices. This dual personality reflected AMC's strategy as a smaller automaker. Unlike Ford or GM, which could afford to separate economy models from high-performance cars, AMC had to stretch one platform to cover multiple markets. By equipping the Javelin with either efficient or aggressive powertrains, the company attracted both budget-conscious drivers and enthusiasts. It was a way of maximizing sales volume without investing in multiple specialized vehicles. The economy-oriented six-cylinder versions were often overlooked in their day, yet they played an important role in keeping the Javelin viable. Insurance costs for muscle cars were rising rapidly in the early 1970s, and gas prices were beginning to creep up even before the oil crisis hit. Offering a stylish pony car with affordable running costs gave AMC a selling point that Mustang or Camaro dealers couldn't always match. At the same time, the availability of high-output V8s ensured that AMC remained competitive in the performance market. Buyers could select optional Go packages, 4-speed transmissions, and performance gearing, turning the Javelin into a legitimate street and track machine. This flexibility reinforced the Javelin's identity as a car that could be tailored to the owner's lifestyle. Today, the contrast between economy and muscle versions adds to the Javelin's intrigue. Collectors often seek out the big V8 models, but the six-cylinder cars highlight AMC's unique attempt to balance practicality with passion. In many ways, the Javelin's switcheroo strategy embodied the company's broader philosophy. Survival depended on versatility, and few cars demonstrated that more clearly than AMC's pony car.
Fact 13. Police Pioneer Flop. The AMC Javelin's foray into police service is one of the more unusual chapters in muscle car history. In the early 1970s, AMC sought to expand sales by marketing the Javelin as a pursuit vehicle. Police agencies were accustomed to full-size sedans for patrol duty, but AMC argued that a smaller, lighter, and more powerful pony car could outperform traditional cruisers in high-speed chases. The company offered specially equipped Javelins with heavy-duty cooling systems, upgraded brakes, reinforced suspensions, and V8 power. At first, the idea drew attention. The Alabama Highway Patrol and a few other agencies tested or purchased fleets of Javelins. On paper, the car's speed and agility gave it advantages over larger sedans. Officers appreciated the performance and the aggressive image that came with patrolling in a muscle car. It was an experiment that made sense during an era when performance cars dominated headlines and racing success boosted showroom appeal. However, in practice, the Javelin police program faced serious limitations. The two-door body style made entry and exit difficult, especially for officers carrying equipment or needing to quickly handle suspects. The rear seats and interior space were too cramped for transporting passengers, particularly detainees. Most importantly, traction was a recurring issue. The powerful V8 and relatively short wheelbase meant that in pursuit conditions, especially on wet or uneven roads, the car could be unstable. For agencies seeking reliability and predictability, this was a deal-breaker. Maintenance costs also added up. While AMC offered competitive prices initially, the Javelin lacked the parts commonality of the full-size Fords and Dodges already dominating police fleets. Departments that experimented with the model soon discovered it was easier and cheaper to stick with established suppliers. By the mid-1970s, the Javelin police experiment had ended, remembered more as a curiosity than a success. It highlighted AMC's willingness to try unconventional markets, but also demonstrated the limitations of using a pony car in law enforcement.
Fact 14. Semi-fastback uniqueness. The AMC Javelin stood apart from its rivals in one important way: it was offered only as a single body style. While competitors like the Mustang or Camaro came in fastbacks, notchbacks, and convertibles, the Javelin was produced exclusively as a semi-fastback coupe. This decision reflected both financial necessity and design strategy. AMC did not have the resources to fund multiple body variants, so Dick Teague's design had to strike a balance between practicality and style. The semi-fastback roofline gave the Javelin a distinctive silhouette. Unlike the steep, dramatic fastbacks seen on Mustangs or Barracudas, the Javelin's lines flowed smoothly from the roof into the rear deck, creating a shape that was both aerodynamic and elegant. It stood out without appearing extreme, and it gave the car the unique identity within the crowded pony car market. The design also provided more usable trunk space and rear passenger room than many rivals, which made it a more practical choice for everyday use. The absence of a convertible option was unusual for the era, but it underscored AMC's resource limitations. Developing a drop-top version would have required extensive engineering changes to maintain structural integrity, something the company could not justify with its tight budgets. Instead, AMC doubled down on making its coupe as stylish and versatile as possible. For buyers, this meant there was no compromise. The Javelin was always recognizable by its sleek, semi-fastback form. Over time, this singular body style has become one of the Javelin's defining traits. Collectors can easily identify it, and enthusiasts often point to its clean lines as a reason it is aged gracefully. In hindsight, AMC's decision not to diversify body styles gave the Javelin a purity of design. While it may have limited market share in the short term, it ensured that the car developed a strong, consistent visual identity. Today, the semi-fastback uniqueness is celebrated as part of the Javelin's charm. It is remembered not only as a product of budget-conscious decision-making, but also as proof that a single, well-executed design could stand confidently against a field of more varied competitors.
Fact 15. Safety ahead of time. The AMC Javelin carried safety features that set it apart in an era when performance usually overshadowed protection. AMC equipped it with padded dashboards and fiberglass interior padding to reduce injury risk in collisions, a forward-thinking move compared to rivals that still used hard surfaces. Flush-mounted door handles added both style and safety, minimizing snagging hazards while giving the car a modern look. The Javelin also featured collapsible steering columns and reinforced side impact beams before many competitors, addressing two of the most dangerous crash scenarios of the time. These innovations showed AMC's ability to think ahead, even on a tight budget. While the Javelin is remembered for its muscle and style, its built-in safety reflected AMC's pragmatic strategy, combining excitement with responsibility. These early measures foreshadowed industry-wide changes that later became standard, proving AMC wasn't just following trends, it was helping set them. Fact 16. Go Package Glory. The Go Package was AMC's way of giving the Javelin serious performance credibility without forcing buyers to piece together options one by one. Introduced in the late 1960s, the package bundled together upgrades that turned a standard Javelin into a street-legal machine ready for track duty. Key features varied slightly by year, but a typical Go package included a higher output V8 engine, often the 343, 360, 390, or later the 401, a functional Ram Air induction system, heavy-duty suspension with front sway bars, power front disc brakes, dual exhaust, and performance tires mounted on styled steel wheels. Stripes and badges often completed the look, signaling to everyone that this wasn't just another base model. The beauty of the Go package was in its simplicity. Buyers could walk into an AMC dealership, check one box, and drive away with a car that could hold its own against Mustangs, Camaros, and Challengers. For AMC, this was a smart marketing move. It gave them a competitive performance offering while streamlining production and keeping costs manageable. On the street and track, Go package-equipped Javelins lived up to the promise. With strong acceleration, sharper handling, and distinctive styling cues, they became favorites among enthusiasts who appreciated AMC's underdog spirit. Many Trans-Am-inspired Javelins that raced under Mark Donohue and Roger Penske shared DNA with these very cars, making the package even more desirable. Today, surviving Go package Javelins are among the most sought after in the collector market. They represent the perfect balance of AMC's ingenuity, offering muscle car performance and racing pedigree in a package that remains rare and distinctive. In a crowded pony car field, the Go package gave the Javelin its edge.
Fact 17. Marketing mayhem. AMC wasn't afraid to get bold with the Javelin's marketing, often going further than the big three in pushing boundaries. One of the most talked about campaigns showed an AMC Javelin literally crushing a Mustang model car under its tire. A clear statement that AMC was ready to take on America's favorite pony car head on. It was a risky move, but it worked. People paid attention. The ads leaned heavily on shock value and direct comparisons. AMC highlighted how the Javelin delivered performance, style, and value without being a copy of Ford, Chevy, or Dodge. They framed the Javelin as the underdog muscle machine, the car for buyers who didn't want to follow the crowd. Instead of playing safe, AMC tapped into the rebellious energy of the late 60s and early 70s. This strategy resonated with younger buyers, the same audience that was starting to look for individuality in their cars. By positioning the Javelin as different and daring, AMC carved out its niche in a very crowded market. While AMC didn't have the massive advertising budgets of its rivals, the creative punch of these campaigns gave the Javelin cultural relevance far beyond its sales numbers.
Fact 18. Mod Javelin Neon Madness. AMC knew looks mattered, and with the Javelin, they went all in on wild style. Enter the big bad colors. Eye-searing neon shades like Big Bad Orange, Blue, and Green. These weren't subtle. They shouted from a mile away, giving the Javelin instant street presence. Add in bold striping, blackout grills, and factory spoilers, and the car looked ready for the drag strip even when parked. This visual flair wasn't just for show. It tapped into late 60s youth culture, where standing out was everything. While Ford and Chevy played it safer with traditional palettes, AMC embraced radical style, making the Javelin the muscle car for drivers who wanted to turn heads. Today, these neon-colored models are among the most sought after, their loud design symbolizing a time when muscle cars weren't just about speed, they were rolling statements of personality.
Fact 19. Rare editions galore. The AMC Javelin lineup included some editions so rare they've become legends among collectors. One standout was the 1970 Trans-Am Javelin SST. Only about 100 were built to meet homologation rules for racing. These cars featured unique graphics, spoilers, and performance upgrades inspired by the track, making them ultra-desirable today. Beyond the Trans-Am SST, AMC released other limited runs, like dealer specials and regional packages, often built in tiny numbers compared to Ford or Chevy rivals. This scarcity means spotting one at a show or auction is a big deal for enthusiasts. What makes these editions special isn't just their performance, it's their underdog status. While bigger brands mass-produced thousands of special trims, AMC's rare Javelins became cult treasures. For collectors today, owning one isn't just about having a muscle car, it's about holding a piece of AMC history that almost no one else can.
Fact 20. Movie star cameos. The AMC Javelin didn't just rule the streets, it found its way onto screens big and small. It showed up in TV dramas like Chicago Fire, proving its muscle car charm still resonates decades later. Back in the day, it even appeared in films such as The Happy Ending, 1969, adding flair to Hollywood storytelling. AMC also used the Javelin in ads with celebrities, including Richard Dreyfuss, linking the car to pop culture while boosting its cool factor. Unlike Mustangs or Camaros that hogged the spotlight, the Javelin's cameos were rarer, making them stand out to fans who noticed. These appearances cemented the Javelin as more than just a muscle car. It became part of American media history. Today, every screen moment feels like a reminder that AMC's bold pony car carried a charisma Hollywood couldn't ignore.
Whew, that's 20 facts that'll have you rethinking the Javelin. Mind blown yet? Like, subscribe, comment your fave fact, and share. Thanks for watching. Peace out.